Hello, everyone, and welcome, all of you. I'm Diana Rankin, and this is our weekly message that we get from Philip from your questions. So, we're going to get started right away here. We've got some interesting questions, and I say questions with an S, and we're going to read Philip's answer for you, and then we will get a message also from the Master's Book of the Answers by Philip, which is one of my books, and it is available on my website. And as many of you know, it's an oracle book that we just open to any page, and we'll get that message, our soul message, at the end of answering this question this week. If you have questions, just put them in the comments below, or if you prefer, give me just send them to my email address and I'll eventually see them. I get so many emails, so sometimes it takes a while, but just let me know and we will go forward with that. Hello, Wendy. Yippee. I'm glad you caught it's live too. It's so always good to see all of you live. And for those of you who are not live, thank you for also coming forward. Joanne, hello, you made it. Yes, I'm so glad. And please tell all your friends and be sure and do the thumbs up. I love that. And Wendy says, your birthday is next Thursday, so happy birthday. Yes, November 11th is my birthday. November 11th, 1945, I'm going to be 76 years old. Oh my. I'm having trouble accepting and believing that one, but that's all right. It is what it is. And, I'm fortunate to be in good health. I'm fortunate to be able to walk and exercise and meditate and journal and work with my clients every day and to work on more books and to write articles for magazines. So I am really blessed to just have the life I live. And people will say to me, you don't look your age. What's your secret? Well, I will tell you, it's not plastic surgery because I don't really think that's a good idea for me or anyone, but I do use a good moisturizer. So also good genes and meditation and exercise. And I would say good eating habits, and most of my eating habits are fairly good, but I am addicted to candy and chocolate. Can a woman live without chocolate? All right. Here are our questions for this week. And Joanne says, happy birthday. Thank you all. I appreciate those birthday messages. You know, there are advantages to getting older, a lot of advantages. Really, we become wiser in many ways. The disadvantage is we don't have the energy that we once had. And I do miss that high energy, but I'm grateful to have all that I have. Okay, we want to get right to these questions now. The questions start with, does the physical body have its own awareness of being? And the person who questioned this watched a loved one pass and believed that he saw the body, that she actually left the body moments before her body stopped trying or stopped trying to still live. And he goes on to say, as well, I have heard or read that people approaching a death event leave their body prior to the accident, trauma, or even torture. And then another question that came in with that same person is, there are times I have thanked my body for being there. Is that silly? Well, I'm going to, first of all, before I read Philip's answer, because he addresses all of this, I want to say that I used to be a volunteer at hospice when I lived in the city. And so I was blessed, even before being a volunteer at hospice, to see people make their transition. And I always would see that rising of the spirit. And hospice would often call me in, well, not often, but sometimes call me in to sit with someone who had no family as they made their transition. And it was always the same. I would see the spirit rising from the body. So, yes, we do that. And I'm not going to take any more of your time with my experiences. Let me tell you what Philip has to say about this. But I will tell you what he says are my experiences that I've seen this. Okay. Phillip says, to address the first question, does the physical body have its own awareness of being? The answer is no and yes. Okay. As you have surmised, the answer is not quite as simple as one might assume. Let us proceed. When a person leaves the body continues to function as long as, shall we say, the electricity stays on. When a human leaves their body during sleep or specific meditation practices, the energy of the body and mind continue to be connected. When a human dies, that connection is severed. However, it can be compared to an electrical light in that once a switch is flipped to off, a light bulb may continue to glow. For the human, the energy current may take several minutes before the body no longer receives the energy, the message to disconnect. Although the light bulb glow may disappear within a few moments once the energy source is removed, the human body may take many minutes. We suggest sitting with the body for about 20 minutes after death is pronounced, unless you have already witnessed the spirit leaving. In this case, the time can be less. To witness leaving the body is to see a white mist or light cloud rise, often from the base chakra. There are times when the life force may seem to rise from the heart chakra, and even times when a ghost-like figure rises from the whole body. Once this is witnessed, most often the body will soon die. The exceptions are, of course, if the person is not dying. In these cases, the witness will notice a cord attached to both the spirit and the human body. So there are cases where we may think the person is dying, and if we're still seeing that cord, they're still attached. Or keep in mind what Phillip said earlier about in the meditation, there are certain specific meditations that we can leave the body, or also we do it spontaneously a lot while we're sleeping. So as long as that cord is still attached. Phillip goes on to say, let us add that when a person is ready for moving into spirit world, the passing is easy and joyous, greeted by soul family. A reunion is a time of celebration. Now let us address those who leave their bodies due to trauma, accidents, or torture. If the life force energy cord is not severed, they have left temporarily to not feel the physical pain. They still have a functioning body to return to. If the trauma on the body is too great, or if the human chooses, the life force energy cord will be cut. If the energy cord is cut and the human mind is unaccepting of this, the spirit will roam in the between worlds energy. By this we mean they will try to function as a third dimension being, but be unable to. Humans call those trapped between worlds ghosts. Prayers and ceremonies can help these beings cross over fully into spirit world. This must be done with love and protection. We do not suggest the novice practice such. We must address the speaking to and visits from those who have successfully transitioned. This is a natural communication and not what we speak of when we refer to those still unaware of leaving their bodies. I want to stop here for a moment. Several times in classes that I've taught, we have come across a situation. I can remember a young man, his parents were in the class, as was an older relative. And we saw the young man in the accident. And we saw him still actually in the car. And the accident had happened a few years before. And so we were able, in this very sacred space, we were able to help him recognize that he was not in the car, that he really had transitioned, or he had really passed into spirit world and was caught in those in-between worlds. And we helped him then transition all the way into his spirit. And I did this also years ago. I was in Scotland, and I was actually with Jean Houston at the time and others, and we were at Caledonia, which is there were wars fought there, and it's a huge graveyard. And there was a young boy who kept coming tugging on me, and there were no young children around us. And of course, it wasn't the same as it wasn't as solid as I would see my hand, for example, or as I would see you. But I could see this young boy, and I wasn't quite sure what to do, and I needed help of what to do. And when I was given that help, then I was able to actually see the light coming through the sky, and it was like that brilliant sunlight. Only it was more white than yellow, and it just flowed down, and I could see his father and brothers and other people standing in this light, and it just flowed down and touched him. And there were others around me holding this energy while I did this, and the boy just suddenly was there with them. It's like he just floated up through the light. And I have to say, it was a beautiful experience to experience that. It isn't something I want to do every day, but it really confirms for me that life does continue beyond our bodies. So let's go back to what Philip was saying then. To be, and that little boy, I want to guess him maybe 8-10 years old. And he was unaware that he had been killed in this battle. And so the father and the others were aware. And so they were unable to bring him forth. But I was able to do that, and very privileged to do that with the help of all these others. So now Philip goes on to talk to us about the human body. To be in human body is a blessing. To do so, to come into body, was requested by you. The body is to be blessed and certainly thanked for being as well as functioning. The body is the instrument that allows you to experience life on earth. It is also an instrument of intuition, in that the body registers your emotions before the busyness of your consciousness does. It also creates a pain or illness to help you understand where corrections are needed. Giving thanks to the body is an act of love that is to be carried out regularly. And that's our information from Philip. I want to add a little bit to this to say every day when I'm walking, and this is usually in the morning, but not always, but every day I say thank you to every cell of my body for functioning so perfectly. I thank my toes and toenails and the bottoms of the feet and the arches and the tops, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, going through the whole body, every muscle, the heart and the lungs, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. So I'm a big one on blessing the body. And another thing, I want to say is, in workshops I've held, one of the things that we do is it's a weekend workshop, Awakening to Your Deeper Intuition. So it takes a while to get to this. But one of the things we do is we go into a slight meditation and we relax, and then I ask you different questions, and you're going to journal the answer. And one of those questions, for example, is in the body, where do you feel anger? Most people are going to say right here in the gut. Not everybody. Others will get it in the throat. But if you become aware of where you feel different emotions in the body, you can then have some kind of, I won't say control, but you'll be able to recognize, okay, I'm angry. Is that really what I want to experience with this situation? And often we'll feel that anger right here before we get it in our conscious mind. And so the body is this marvelous instrument, and no, not silly at all to thank it. As Philip says, giving thanks to the body is an act of love that is to be carried out regularly. Thank your body, everyone. Well, Joanne and Wendy, I'm so glad you were able to join us. And for those of you who were not, I almost forgot, didn't I? But for those of you who were not welcome, but let's go ahead and get our message. Now I get this message from Phillip every morning. I pick this book up when I'm journaling and just say, hey, what's your wisdom? What's your message for me today? And then I just flip through to a page, or I just may open up to a page and see what the message is. Desi, thank you. And Desi says, like gut, heart, then head. Okay. And, there's, we say, I've got my finger there, so we won't lose it. We say, we think of the heart as being love. And so when our hearts were feeling that great love, or our hearts feel broken when that love isn't there. So yes, and then the head, absolutely, I got you there. But if we get a headache, there's also a reason to ask why. Okay, I'm hearing left. If you got left, then our intuition is just in sync, and that's the message for everyone. If you heard right, then that's a message that you need to pay attention to. So for all of us, the message is time spent in worry is better spent talking to your God. Time spent in worry is better spent talking to your God. If you are a worrier, go check out my video about creating a worry jar. It'll help you get past worrying. And remember, time spent in worry is better spent talking to your God. Whatever your God is. For me, God is love. So by whatever name you call God. And if you heard right, you become happy in your desire to make others happy. You become happy in your desire to make others happy. Those are our soul messages for this week. Well, thank you so much. I look over at the bigger screen over here. It's just easier for me to see. But thank you, Desi and Joanne and Wendy. So glad you were able to join us today. I try to come on every Friday around 1 o'clock Eastern. Well, it's Eastern Daylight Time until Sunday. Here in the States, we are going off of daylight time and going back to regular time. So we'll see how that. It's easier in the fall because we get that extra hour of sleep, but it also means it's dark at 5 o'clock. Don't like that. Anyway, thank you all for being with us today. Thank you for receiving this love that we're sending out to you. Thank you for the love that you send to us. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. The 11th of November. Happy birthday to me. Thank you. Until we meet again.